In 1932, Australia faced one of the strangest enemies in modern history. Not another country, not an invading army. Birds, thousands of emus were destroying farmland in Western Australia, and the government responded with a plan that sounded simple on paper. Send soldiers, bring machine guns, solve the problem. The emus had other ideas. To understand the story, we have to go back to the years after World War I. Many Australian veterans were given land in Western Australia and became farmers. They worked hard to build a new life, but farming in the region was not easy. The land was dry, the economy was unstable, and the Great Depression made everything worse. Then a new problem arrived, and it came on two legs. Every year, large groups of emus moved through the region. Emus are tall, flightless birds native to Australia. They are fast, strong, and surprisingly difficult to control. In 1932, around 20,000 emus reportedly entered farming areas in Western Australia. They damaged fences, trampled fields, and destroyed crops, especially wheat. For struggling farmers, this was a disaster. They were already under pressure, and now thousands of giant birds were tearing through their land. The farmers asked the government for help, and the government actually responded. The Australian military sent soldiers to the region. They brought machine guns and expected the operation to be simple. On paper, it sounded easy. A few soldiers, powerful weapons, a large number of visible targets. But almost immediately, things began to go wrong. The emus were not easy targets. They moved quickly, spread out into smaller groups, and ran across rough open land where it was hard to hit them effectively. Instead of staying together in one large flock, they scattered whenever the soldiers got close, and once they started running, they were surprisingly difficult to stop. The military had weapons. The emus had speed, numbers, and chaos on their side. Several attempts were made to reduce the emu population, but the results were disappointing. Large amounts of ammunition were used, but relatively few birds were actually taken down. At one point, the operation became so ineffective that it began to look ridiculous. The image of soldiers with machine guns struggling against giant birds was hard to take seriously, and the newspapers noticed. Before long, the story spread beyond the farms. Reporters and readers turned it into a joke. The idea that Australia had gone to war against birds was strange enough. The fact that the operation was not going well made it even better for headlines. People began talking about the event as if Australia had lost a war against emus. Of course, it was not a real war in the traditional sense, but the name stuck, and so did the embarrassment. In the end, the military operation failed to solve the problem in any lasting way. The emus remained a challenge, and other methods had to be used later to protect farmland. But the story survived for a different reason, not because it was a great military success, but because it was one of the strangest chapters in Australian history. A government sent soldiers with machine guns to fight birds, and the birds became legends. If you want more strange history, forgotten events, and unbelievable true stories, subscribe to OddLoreLab.